Our recipe today is oatmeal pancakes. We're continuing with our series of quick breads, and oatmeal pancakes are another part of the quick bread family. This recipe is a very simple recipe. You're going to be able to eat these same day you make them. And what we have in front of you is flour, quick oats, quick cooking oatmeal. I have salt, sugar, baking powder, and baking soda. Baking powder and baking soda are both leavening agents. And to go along with the baking powder, you always need an acid of some sort to activate the chemicals in the baking powder. So we have buttermilk, we have oil, and we have milk. And we also have 1 egg. So what we're going to do, the recipe says beat all the ingredients in a medium bowl. So I'm just going to start in order. It's a half cup of flour, a half cup of oats, 3/4 cup of buttermilk. Remember, this is your liquid measuring cup. I know some of you are going to turn your noses up at the buttermilk, but you're not going to taste it in the recipe. It is a very important part of this recipe. A 1/4 cup of milk, so we have 2 different kinds of milk. 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. You will be measuring this with your measuring spoons, not a liquid measuring cup, because you don't have a tablespoon measuring. The baking powder, the baking soda, sugar, salt, and 1 egg. And I need to crack the egg. And I always check to make sure the egg is okay. Remember, you tap it with a knife or your straight edge spatula, open it up, put it in a separate container, then you can put it in your bowl with your other ingredients. Let me move some of this out of the way. I also want to get the griddle going because you want it hot, so I'm going to put it on about 5, which is in between. It's in between a low and a high temperature on your burner. So the recipe says to mix with a hand mixer. I choose to use a wire whisk, and this is one of these where you're going to stir and stir and stir, because you want to get everything mixed up. And it doesn't take a long time. And it's a stirring and lifting motion. Now, the recipe also says if you like thinner pancakes, you can add a little bit more milk to it. If you don't want it quite so thin, then you can choose to use less milk. I'm using exactly what the recipe said. So we'll see how that turns out. The other thing you want to do with your skillet, griddle, if you have a big griddle, that works also, is to take your pastry brush, get some shortening on it, and brush this griddle. I have a non-stick pan, so I don't need a lot of shortening. So it depends upon what you have in your individual kitchens as to what you use. The way to know if your skillet is ready is to take some drops of water and throw them in the pan. If they dance, kind of sizzle and dance, then you know your pan is ready. If they don't, then it's not quite ready for your pancakes. Now, this recipe makes about 10 to 12 pancakes, depending on how big you make them. And it's recommended to use a 1/4 cup measuring, so that's the measure that I'll use. And you can get more or less Try not to get everything all over your stove top. It just makes cleanup a little more difficult. So we'll try a little bit of water. Nothing happens, so we're not quite ready yet. So cooks, when you're doing this, you might want to, a good thing to do is to get the pan out and get it on the burner, turn it on so it's ready to go by the time all the ingredients come back, because you can see this doesn't take long to mix up. Just mix, and as soon as the pan is ready, then we'll start cooking. Start cooking them. They'll rise a little bit because they are quick bread. They have the baking soda, the baking powder in them. And you can sit down and eat, and it's still not ready. So we'll need to wait just a little bit. I hear it's starting to sizzle. So it's called hurry up and wait. I think we can try it one more turn. Just about. And some of you will think this is kind of strange, but this is the standard tried and true way to test a griddle to see if it's ready for the pancakes. A little bit of shortening left on my pastry brush. And so whoever's writing the equipment down, I hope you're getting all of this. It doesn't take a lot of different things. There. I hope you can hear that, but it is sizzling, they're dancing, so it's ready. So I'm going to take the measuring cup, put them on. You don't want to get them too big because they spread out a little bit. So we can do probably, I think we'll do 3 here, just so they have enough room to cook, and we want them to rise. It says cook until the pancakes are puffed. They will puff up and dry around the edges. A lot of times you'll see little bubbles form in the middle, and when those bubbles start to burst, then you know that it's ready, it's cooked enough. And this one's starting to bubble. That's the action working, the buttermilk and the baking powder working together. The baking soda is a little bit extra leavening on this one, and I think it's because we have oatmeal in there. Oatmeal's pretty heavy. And they haven't puffed yet, but they are starting to, the bubbles are starting to bubble up and break open, so that means that they are starting to cook. It's always good to just lift an edge and see it does not lift right yet. It's still too wet. So we want it dry on the edges so you can get the rubber or the pancake turner underneath the edges. And so this is one where you can just stand and watch, wait till they're done. Can you see the bubbles? Ooh, this one's starting to get a little dry around the edges. I want it to cook just a little bit longer. Now once we flip them, it won't take long to cook them on the other side. And if you have a non-stick pan that you're using, you want to make sure you use the correct utensil because you don't want to scratch your non-stick surface. Okay, this one looks pretty good here. See if I can get it turned. Sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. Aha! And see, it's just right. It just, it's not too done, and it's nice and golden on that side. You want to slide this underneath and give it a flip. Now we're not doing the flipping in the air kind of thing, but we do want it to get flipped over nicely. And we don't want them a lot of dough in the middle on the other side.